Hi, I'm News Channel 12's Chief Meteorologist Ken South here on the historic Vicksburg battlefield as part of our Independence Day celebration. Now, someone born and raised here in Mississippi, I like to take every opportunity to show my pride in our state and in our country, and what better time to do that than the 4th of July. So sit back and relax while we take you on a tour of some of the special people and places that make us proud to call Mississippi home in tonight's Southbound Independence Day special. In the South, many of us refer to every soft drink as a Coke, and the reason may be that the popularity of Coca-Cola as a bottled drink started in Mississippi in 1894. The Biedenhorn family, immigrants from Germany, owned 3 candy stores around Vicksburg where they served flavored carbonated water from a soda fountain. The most popular flavor was Coca-Cola, but you could only buy it by the glass if you came in the store. That is, until Joseph Biedenhorn decided to bottle it so he could deliver it to his customers.
Eventually, Mr. Biedenhorn ended up with franchises in Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. So it really became something not just for him, but of course he started a revolution essentially.
The only store left is this one in downtown Vicksburg. It's now the Biedenhorn Coca-Cola Museum. Inside, you'll see the history of Coke as a bottled drink, a replica of a machine used to make the carbonated water, and the very first bottles that Coca-Cola was ever sold in. The bottle we recognize today wasn't made until 1915. There have been many changes to Coca-Cola through the years. In the 1980s, for instance, the company started using corn syrup as a sweetener instead of cane sugar. But here at the museum in Vicksburg, you can get that older variety of Coke that you may remember from your childhood, served in an old-fashioned way.
And it's very nostalgic, because you come in and you see a lot of those things that you grew up with.
1, 2, 3, say Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola fans are drawn to the museum. Today, the Barr family is visiting from Texas.
This is really a neat way to tie something that they see every day. Don't get to have it every day, but they see it every day to the evolution of so much of our family life. And so it was just really neat to have them be aware of the fact that things that we take for granted have a history.
And that history belongs to the city of Vicksburg.
I don't know, it's probably the best known icon in the whole world, and so it's really a star in our crown.
Next, we go from Cokes in Vicksburg to a soda fountain in Fondren as the next stop in our southbound journey.
It's quite scandalous. Sounds like Jackson, if you ask me.
And the 2011 film The Help looks a lot like Jackson too. There are at least a few landmarks you'll recognize in the movie. One of them is Brents Drugs. Brad Reeves is the person who told filmmakers Brents would be the perfect place to shoot scenes for the movie. He also saved Brents when the future of the store was up in the air. In 2009, Brents Pharmacy was sold to a national chain, and there were doubts it could survive as just a soda shop. So Brad bought it and turned it around.
We had an empty pharmacy, and we just took the old pharmacy area that was empty and made that into the kitchen. And that's worked out well, and it's allowed us to, again, put out more food.
It's the food and the nostalgia that keeps customers coming through these doors that have been open since 1946.
It's my favorite place to have breakfast meetings. Sometimes we've had people in here for breakfast. They kind of get off on the fact that this was the movie set.
Another fan of Brents is artist Wyatt Waters.
I just like the period that it represents because it makes me remember what I was, what happened in my childhood, really. That's probably what keeps me coming back.
The old-style diner and soda fountain at Brents Drugs obviously makes it a special place for the city of Jackson, but did you know there's a hidden gem in the back of Brents Drugs right behind this curtain? This is the Apothecary, a new concept for after-hours entertainment in Fondren. The Apothecary is a tribute to Brent's history as a drugstore. Here you can get a prescription cocktail. It also harkens back to the days of Prohibition when bartenders either moved to Europe or stayed in the States to work at soda fountains like Brent's.
I I think a lot of people like that kind of speakeasy side to it, of kind of coming in and wondering if they're supposed to be here or not. So you just walk through the front door of Brents and keep going on back, and there it is.
The apothecary is tucked away in the back of the store and is open only after 5 p.m., preserving the family atmosphere of the diner out front.
Honestly, I'd say most of our customers are kind of people that live, within a few miles. So between, the folks that work at UMC and people that live in the neighborhood or in the surrounding neighborhoods, that's really kind of kept us going.
And it didn't hurt that they got a little help from Hollywood. From Brents Drugs in Jackson, I'm Ken South for Southbound. We'll be right back with more of our Southbound Independence Day special. Welcome back. Well, Mississippi and our neighbors in Louisiana are no strangers to overcoming challenges, and one of our biggest was 2005's Hurricane Katrina. And our next stop will take you to one Mississippi city that turned disaster into pride. August 2005, Hurricane Katrina changes the Gulf Coast forever. Beachfront homes are destroyed, along with roads and bridges and so many trees. Saltwater intrusion from the storm surge killed many old oak trees along Highway 90. In the recovery effort, most of them were cut down, but not all. In early 2006, not long after Katrina, the city of Biloxi decided to commission an artist from Mississippi to turn a stand of dead trees into this. These sculptures are the work of chainsaw artist Dayton Scoggins. He turned depressing fragments of an awful day into wonderful and whimsical images of marine life, and gave the majestic trees of the Gulf a second chance to be beautiful.
That's the first thing you notice when you drive down Highway 90 and the ones in the median, and they're just lovely to look at, and I think they'll last forever. They're just beautiful.
Not a day goes by when you don't have somebody out there photographing those works of art. And the beauty of it is that these are trees that were sculpted in place. They were there before the storm killed them, and now we've turned them into beautiful works of art that people admire every day.
But that's not the end of the story. In fact, it was just the beginning.
So a long time ago, after Hurricane Ivan, we went down and helped some people in the Pensacola and Fort Walton Beach area. And there was a guy down there who has never forgotten that, and his name is Marlon Miller. And he also is a chainsaw artist. And so he called us and said, I would like to come back and repay a favor to the people of Biloxi and maybe do a sculpture for y'all.
Miller did come to create a sculpture, and then another, until more than 3 dozen carvings dotted the beachfront landscape.
What happened was when he was out there working, people would stop, people that lived here, and they would want to go up and tell him that just how happy they were that he was doing this to bring some beauty into our area that was so devastated at that time. And every time the story was the same. They would all just start crying, so it was very emotional. We think that was one of the things that kept him coming back.
And what's also come back is one of the carved trees. A few years ago, this tree started growing again, so now it appears the bird on top is nesting. It's now known as the Lazarus tree.
But it can just show you that even after how bad the storm was in Katrina, that life goes on and everything can, it comes back.
From the coast, we head back to Jackson for another famous survivor of our Mississippi weather. April 2011, a tornado hits the city of Jackson and Malik O Records suffers heavy damage.
That's the first time I really got scared because we had 3 employees in the building and it didn't look like anybody could have survived.
That was then, and this is now. Malik O Records is making music again.
Probably a lot of smart people were, saying, well, certainly you're not going to build back, or you're not going to build back in Jackson.
But that's exactly what they did. The new studio sits in the same place where the original company started more than 4 decades ago.
I think it shows that we've made a commitment to the music industry. We are here.
Tommy Couch Jr. is the president of Malik O Records. For him, it's a family business. His father, Tommy Sr., and uncle, Mitchell Maloof, combined their names to create Malik O in 1967.
They did what they loved, and they were good at making music.
The company struggled to make ends meet for the first few years, and then one afternoon in May of 1970, magic happened.
Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff?
5 artists from New Orleans came to Malik O Records for a marathon recording session, and that one afternoon, 2 classics were born. Mr. Big Stuff, sung by Gene Knight, and Groove Me by King Floyd. The next big hit for Malik O was from a local artist.
Turns my whole world misty blue.
Dorothy Moore recorded Misty Blue in 1973, but it didn't hit the charts until '75. Malik O then made an attempt to get into the disco market, but its main contribution was providing the place where Anita Ward recorded this hit. When disco ended, Malik O finally found its niche. The company concentrated on blues and soul music. ZZ Hill's album Down Home sold more than 500,000 copies in the early 80s.
One of my mama's favorite blues singers recorded by Malik O Records, and her favorite song was Down Home Blues by ZZ Hill. Now I'm a part of it.
Grady Champion is an artist from Canton. He's the first blues singer signed by Malik O since the studio was rebuilt, and this is his first recording session.
I think everybody's on the same page about moving my career to the next level, and that's the most important thing to me, is having people that believe in me.
And Malik O believes they found a way to be around for at least another 4 decades.
Really one of the last record companies that will make blues, gospel, soul music. We know who our audience is, and that's who we make records for.
Stick around for more of our Southbound Independence Day special coming up next. Welcome back. Well, you can't talk about a Mississippi summer without talking about the heat and humidity. And of course, somebody is going to bring up the Neshoba County Fair, which is our next stop in our Southbound Independence Day special. Year after year, they always come home. People who have roots in Neshoba County have journeyed back to these fairgrounds every summer since the 1890s.
There are times when it is so hot you can't move. You know, all you do is sit with your water and your ice. And I mean, it can be pretty miserable, but that's okay. You know, that's just part of it.
It's the heat that makes you sit out on a porch swing with family or share an ice-cold drink with friends and neighbors you may not have seen since last year.
People are coming through all the time, and it's just fun. You see people here once a year that, you know, it's people I never see and people that I love and look forward to seeing every year.
And as families grow, so must the cabins. There are now nearly 600 of them. Almost all of the original cabins have been torn down and replaced with 2 or even 3-story buildings, big enough to accommodate multiple generations.
It's young'uns, grand-young'uns, great-grand-young'uns. It's just a family thing.
We're on the kids' floor, even though I'm 40. I'll be on the kids' floor until my mom dies. So I'll be there till I'm probably, hopefully 70.
Her mother is Suzanne Williams Scanlon. The Williams family has a long history at the fair.
Well, I can't imagine not having a cabin at the fair because we've grown up here.
Over the decades, they've seen each neighborhood of this temporary town grow and develop its own personality. There's Founders Square, Happy Hollow, and Sunset Strip, among others.
Everybody has their little tradition. People up on the hill have different traditions and everything. But I mean, this is extremely special because this is when we bond.
My age group, we'll stay up till 2 and 3 every night, and we cook party pizzas and sausage balls, and we dance and we walk around, and it's great.
We just have a good time. Our family has a good time.
Next, we beat the heat with a trip to Mississippi's Ship Island. Our trip to Mississippi's barrier islands begins in Gulfport. Excited to spend a day at the beach, families board a ferry for the 11-mile journey. The trip takes about an hour and is a great part of the experience.
Okay, folks, we got a whole bunch of dolphins. Looks like they're going to go down our left-hand side of the boat.
Gulfport native William Buckley is the boat captain.
Been out on this body of water since I was knee-high. I think I knew how to drive a boat before I knew how to drive a bicycle.
This body of water is the Mississippi Sound, and on today's crossing, we see lots of marine life. From pelicans looking for a meal to wild dolphins at play in the bright morning sun. Some of them even escorting the boat to one of Mississippi's best natural treasures.
A lot of people forget that we do have water and sand beaches, whereas people tend to forget poor little Mississippi, but I think we're the crown jewel of the northern Gulf through here. I really do.
Arriving at the island, you soon realize why it's a special place. The water is crystal clear, the sandy white beaches are inviting, and as you stroll down a boardwalk across the half-mile width of the island, you see wildlife everywhere. These students from Arkansas Tech are here to see migratory birds.
He's coming out. We've seen sanderlings, plovers, sandpipers, coots, red-winged blackbirds, a lot of birds. It's really neat. I love it here. It's really good place.
And it's a great place to enjoy the beach away from the clamor of the coast.
There's hardly anybody here. We feel like we've got the beach to ourselves, and it's just very natural beach.
It's a good family place to go. There's kids running around, and it's really peaceful and just nice.
Today, Ship Island is a vacation destination where visitors can spend a relaxing day at the beach in a beautiful, peaceful setting. But it wasn't always that way. Cannons stand atop the island's only remnant from the Civil War, Fort Massachusetts.
A lot of people don't know it's out here, and they're very surprised at it. They're very intrigued about it.
Close your eyes and think about a bunch of cannons going off over here.
National Park Service Ranger Danny Underwood gives daily tours.
We had Confederate soldiers from different battles that were out here,
explaining the fort's role in the war.
Not a bad assignment at all. I love this place. Get to meet all the people, talk to everybody coming out on the boat tours.
All of the people on the island will leave before sunset, boarding the ferry for the return trip to Gulfport. No one is allowed to stay overnight.
We try to tread lightly as much as we can. That way the island can do its thing to rebuild itself. You know, I just like to see these islands stay pretty much natural as they are. It's one of the few places in the country, I believe, where we still have islands like this.
We leave the sandy beaches to take a dip in the refreshing waters of DLO, Mississippi. Peaceful. That's the word most often used to describe DLO Water Park. It's a campground just off Highway 49 in Simpson County. The main attraction is the Strong River. The cascade of water over the rocks in the riverbed is the soothing backdrop to a relaxing, stress-relieving getaway that's right in our own backyard.
We live 2 miles down the road and we feel like we're away from home. We just used to come down here, stay all day and eat watermelon, barbecue, go swimming.
Another way to enjoy the water is to tube or canoe down the river. You can start your trip at DLO and finish at one of several landings downstream.
Okay, like that.
After floating down the Strong River for a couple of hours, a lot of folks choose to stop here at Merritt Landing because it's so pretty. There's a waterfall and clear, cold water for swimming.
It's very beautiful. I love the water. The
I
waterfall.
can tell anybody if they want to come enjoy themselves in a good, clean environment, this is the place to go.
The scenery at DLO and Merritt made the Strong River the place to go for Hollywood filmmakers a few years back. Several scenes in the 2000 movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou were filmed right here.
Your mama's gone away and your daddy's gonna stay. Didn't need nobody but the baby.
Pete, it's me, Delmar. It's me, Delmar. Neither God nor man's got nothing on me now. Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
And it still is. From the DLO Water Park in Simpson County, I'm Ken South for Southbound. We take to the Mississippi skies when the Southbound Independence Day Special returns. Welcome back. Well, if you were raised in Mississippi, chances are you're no stranger to hard work. And our next stop will take us to the Williams Brothers General Store in Philadelphia, where you could once find two of our biggest football stars bagging groceries. On a cold January morning, the Williams Brothers General Store in Philadelphia is bustling with business. It's a family business, started in 1907 by the grandparents of Sid Williams.
And this picture of the store is in 1941 with grandfather and grandmother.
Sid and his cousin Jane are the third generation to run the store, but most of the family at some point has spent time here.
I grew up working here, and all the family, my brothers, sisters, I mean, everybody, cousins, everybody that's been part of the family has grown up working here.
Family photos are posted throughout the store, and that includes a few famous sons.
If you can see, this is Peyton at the fair when he was just a little bitty boy. Got a football in his hand. And
Sid's nephews are Cooper, Peyton, and Eli Manning. And yes, they worked here too.
we tell people that's how Peyton got his arms so strong. Said when he sliced bacon, we wouldn't turn the machine on. We just make him push it.
Eli Manning stood right there and sacked groceries, and I would check him. He didn't talk. He didn't carry on into foolishness. He really wanted to do his job well. I mean, he took sacking groceries just as serious as I guess he plays football.
That work ethic runs in the family.
I tell people that's my office as a bacon slicer.
Williams Brothers is popular for sliced bacon and sharp cheddar cheese shipped in each month from Wisconsin. Alongside the groceries and farm equipment, customers can also shop for blue jeans, women's clothes, and dozens of shoe brands.
This is a general merchandise store, and all through the years we've stayed a general merchandise store. A lot of people say we were too dumb to change, and now it's kind of paying off. One of our slogans is here to Williams Brothers, the good old days are still here.
And so are the customers. It's the tradition and the family values the people of Neshoba County have embraced, and it keeps them coming back.
I'm grateful that they do. I know we love them, and we appreciate everybody that walks through that door, every customer.
For our last stop, if you think Mississippi is beautiful from the ground, just wait until you see it from the sky. At the break of dawn, 3 hot air balloon crews get busy preparing to launch. They like to start early when flying conditions are usually best. All the balloons are in an open field just off the interstate in Madison County. And even though the balloons are large, it takes an experienced crew only a few minutes to inflate them and attach a small basket. Our crew will fly in this giant blue balloon, owned by Ken and Lee Johnston from Canton. Ken will be our pilot on this flight, while Lee will lead the chase team on the ground.
All right, we're out of here, folks.
Lifting off in a hot air balloon is really just like floating away from the earth. No anxious moments. Within minutes, you are 800 feet in the air, moving above a familiar landscape, even though you know you've never seen it quite this way before.
Now, I get a lot of folks that may be uneasy about it, afraid it's real rocky and shaky and all that, but as you can see, it's just calm and peaceful and very smooth here.
The ride is peaceful because there's no sound other than our own voices and the occasional firing of a burner.
In a plane, a fixed-wing aircraft, to me, you got so many gauges and vibration and the noise, you're not concentrating as much as looking out and just seeing the scenery we've got here.
As passengers, we get to enjoy the scenery, while Ken watches for any kind of danger like power lines or cell phone towers.
You know, it's like anything else. There's a little risk to it, but if you do your homework and take your time, you know, it's not bad.
What's bad is that this wonderful journey has to end so soon. After about a 30-minute ride over the Mississippi landscape, we're now brushing the treetops, descending, getting ready to land in just a few minutes. Ken puts the balloon down by pulling ropes attached to the top of the balloon to vent some of the heat out.
Okay, just stay in here with me. All right, very good.
Within seconds of landing, Lee and her chase team are there to help steady the basket.
I'm tickled y'all are here.
And even though the landing was perfect, it did cause some commotion in this Lake Caroline neighborhood.
Sorry we woke y'all up this morning. Is breakfast ready?
That's crazy. That's crazy, and it's something to wake up to.
It's kind of cool though, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. Not every day you get a balloon to land in your front yard.
And it's not every day you get to ride in one either. After packing up the balloon, we headed off to meet up with the other 2 balloon crews for a traditional ceremony for first-time flyers. From Madison County, I'm Ken South for Southbound. Well, thanks for joining me here in Vicksburg, Mississippi for our Southbound Independence Day special. I'm News Channel 12's Ken South wishing you a happy 4th of July. Thanks for watching.